Robots Radio presents...
Hello, and welcome Breeze on a summer day. You little shit.
You can do it. Do it again. Do it again.
Hello, and welcome to Fresh Tomatoes, the movie podcast. The podcast that's like a warm breeze. No, cool breeze, you idiot. What's happening? I'm falling apart. Hello, and welcome to Fresh Tomatoes, the movie podcast. The podcast that's like a cool breeze on a summer's day. That's Simone LaRue.
And that's Chad Ekowitz.
How are you today, Simone? Are you... I'm good. I'm good. I will definitely keep all three of those in, just so that people know what we do. And I mean, people on our YouTube channel will see it anyway, but we have... That's what we do. We're professionals. Professionals, outtakes, and intakes.
Mm-hmm. Yes, The only reason we ever maybe accidentally sound professional is purely because of editing.
Yeah, exactly. Which makes me also think, like, how much of editing happens in the real world with the big wigs? Because I'm sure, you know, people are a mess.
I mean, we know for a fact that Bet On It took 19 days to film, or 9 days to film, or something, from High School Musical 2.
Yes, we do. And there's no way that was because it was a heavy task. It was a man singing across a golf field. I'm pretty sure it should have taken a day.
You'd think, but we don't know. We don't know the logistics that were applied there.
Exactly. We'll have to get Zach on at some point.
Yeah,
and
our good friend Zach.
Why it took so much stuff. We love him. He loves us. We hang out all the time. These are truth
Oh my God,
facts.
so
There's
often.
nothing made up of... Oh, he's just, you know, I'm a bit bored of him now.
Like, geez, move on, Zach. Like, he's a little clingy sometimes, but yeah, what can you do?
You do. You know, we're not fair weather friends. We stick with things, whether they're good or bad.
Hell yeah.
And speaking of things that we stick with that are good and bad, what are we doing this week, Simone?
Excellent segue, Chad.
Sometimes you have to set yourself.
We are doing Charlie's Angels this week, starting basically the two most recent Charlie's Angels movies, which is 2003's Charlie's Angels Full Throttle and 2019's Charlie's Angels with a brand new cast. I am so excited for this week. How are you feeling?
I am so ready for it. It's gonna be, it's really amazing, and I'm so shocked that we never thought of doing this earlier.
Yeah.
But now that I'm so ready for these badass women to just kick ass, and we can talk about it, and it's funny and it's brilliant. And yes, I'm so ready to hear your thoughts on this, especially because they're so different. Same material, so different.
Yeah, I've been trying to figure out my thoughts about it all day, and I feel like I might only figure them out after we're done recording this podcast.
Isn't that always the way? We always have our most insightful things as we're talking about it.
Yeah.
But it's never before or during.
No. I mean, and also, like, there'll be, like, a week later that I'm like, damn it, I should have said that on the podcast.
Right? I'll think about it when I'm listening back to old episodes, and I'll just be like, that's actually a really good idea.
That would have been a smart thing for me to say.
What can we do? Hey, we're posthumously genius. So, Simone, like you said before we started recording, it would make more sense that we did this in order.
Yeah.
In chronological order. That doesn't mean I can't find out what you're drinking.
I am back to basics today, Chad. I am drinking an Immaculant Pinotage, which is my go-to cheap red wine that tastes pretty good.
Yeah.
It comes in at a cool 13.5%, so it gets the job done. And full disclosure, I did have a whole beer before this, so it's gonna be lit.
Ooh, what's the rules? No, is it has to do with liquor? What's that? Wine before liquor, never sicker.
Liquor before beer, you're in the clear. Beer before liquor, never sicker. Which I actually find I find it opposite. You start with the lighter drinks and you work your way up. If you're doing shots at the beginning of the night, frankly, you're an alcoholic. Sorry to say.
About to say, you need to check yourself before you riggedy wreck yourself if you're starting with shots. Someone hurt you and you need to be in counseling.
You heard it here first. Sorry about your mental health.
Will always be the intervention that no one asked for, but everyone needs.
That should be our new slogan. Just Fresh Tomatoes, the movie podcast, the intervention no one asked for.
Like, there you go. You've got yours for next week sorted. We don't need to worry about it.
I'll just desperately try to remember it. What are you drinking, Chad?
Yeah. Today I'm going out after this. I'm just going for a drive to get my car clean. So I didn't want to be drinking anything too heavy. So I'm just drinking a lovely Bailey's. Very fancy,
a classic.
very nice, very smooth. You kind of inspired me last week from your.
Oh. I've lost him.
Can you hear me?
You're back.
Can you
You're
hear
back.
me?
You're back. You're back.
I don't know why it's so bad today.
I hate it.
I
Maybe they're
I
finally
do hate
repairing
it
that
so much.
undersea cable today.
You can only hope, and then I don't know. It might be my side as well. There might be like 101 devices sharing the internet, so you never know.
Never know.
Never know. Yeah. So you inspired me from your drink last week with the liqueur. So thank you for that.
You're so very welcome. It was definitely on purpose.
So then, Simone, tell me about Full Throttle.
There's actually quite a lot of plot to this.
There is.
So I tried to narrow it down as easily as I could. Okay. So it's time to save the world, and the angels are up for the task. Natalie, Dylan, and Alex, played by Cameron Diaz, Drew Barrymore, and Lucy Liu respectively, must rescue an important head of national security from Mongolia. Naturally, they succeed with a bunch of cute outfits and explosions. Unfortunately, though, his ring was stolen. It turns out his ring is one half of the Halo, which is a database for all of the people in the Witness Protection Program. Even worse, the other half of Halo was stolen simultaneously. The girls must find out who took it and stop them from selling information to the highest bidder. Along the way, they run into Madison Lee, who's played by Demi Moore, who is an ex-angel, and she wishes them luck. They rescue Max, played by Shia LaBeouf, an orphan from Witness Protection who was almost murdered by the O'Grady crime family. They also learn that Dylan was not always Dylan. She's also in the Witness Protection Program after turning in her boyfriend, Seamus O'Grady, played by Justin Theroux. He is pissed. He knows her new identity, and he's coming after her. They confront him and his gang to retrieve the rings and manage just in the nick of time, but not before Seamus promises Dylan that he will return and destroy everything she loves. Scared for her friends' lives, Dylan leaves for Mexico. Natalie and Alex have no time to mourn as they realize that the theft of Halo was an inside job. They track the officer that they had rescued at the beginning of the movie, played by Robert Patrick, to another location where he meets the surprise mastermind behind it all, Madison Lee. She never forgave Charlie for kicking her out of the Angels, and she wants cash and revenge. Dylan returns in the nick of time after a change of heart, and the three angels track the various bidders for Halo through Hollywood, hatching a plan to get them all arrested. A huge fight with Madison ensues, which the angels ultimately win. They save the day, attend a movie premiere, and their various side plots are resolved. The end.
So lovely. That is so lovely. So what's your cliffhanger? Because there's loads to choose from. I'm dying to see
There
what
are
you
so many
chose.
good lines in this, but I had to go with Seamus O'Fucking-Grady as he emerges from the flames. It's this clip here, and it's his incredibly heavy Irish accent. And he's like, I'm gonna teach you and your friends about peeing. And I don't know why. It just made me laugh so hard. Can I say, Justin Theroux worked out for this fucking role. I don't think he had a shirt on the entire time.
No, he must have been so cold. I know it's LA, so it's really warm, but even so, like, he was not wearing a shirt. But maybe, just maybe, Simone, he should have spent less time in the gym and more time with an Irish person. Because that accent was so painful, or as he would say, painful, which is more Jamaican than anything.
I mean, I think his like first couple lines of dialogue were like really good. Like he worked on those, and then after that, he was like, "Fuck it."
He's just gonna throw random words around and hope they sound vaguely Irish. I was reading the IMDb on this, all the sort of trivia, and apparently
Oh, I
there
read it too.
was like one Irish person on. Yeah, one Irish person on set. That is horrendous. For an
And I'm sure
O'Grady,
they
for the
just their
O'Grady
ears were
crime family, none
bleeding
of them
by the
Irish.
end of the day.
They just go home and they're just like, I hate Hollywood, I hate LA, I hate this. I'm so done with that.
Oh my
I
God.
don't understand these people.
So, what did you enjoy about this movie?
Oh, Simone,
So many
much.
things.
Like, there are so many things that are great. The fact that Bruce Willis is in this just blew my mind because I completely forgot that he was in this. Amazing. The fact that Demi Moore is in this and she's like really like dangerous, psychotic, sexy, and it's really, really fun.
Demi
The
Moore is too
ridiculous stunts
beautiful.
that
It's
make-
not even fair.
her eyes, they're just so piercing, like
Her
ice
fucking
blade.
body when she's running down the
Oh
beach
my
in that
God.
bikini, like I am as straight as they come. But I was like, I mean, for you, Demi Moore.
Damn, Bruce Willis is a fool for breaking up with her. Like, I hope he feels terrible for that because he made
Yes,
the
I
big,
hope he feels like a damn fool.
like the biggest damn fool. But you know, then you've got the stunts, which are just outrageous. The whole scene on the bikes was just fucking hilarious. The fact that Pink was in this movie.
Yes.
There's just so many
Carrie
little
Fisher was
aspects.
in this movie.
Carrie fucking Fisher was in this movie. Like, how could you not enjoy everything about this movie? It's impossible.
This movie is wildly entertaining. From start to finish, it's just colors and lights and ridiculous fight scenes where you can practically see the wires like pulling them across the set. Oh my God, the outfits. That was like, I think that's my favorite thing about Charlie's Angels is because, like, you know, as they're like solving the mystery, you're like, what outfit are we doing next? This is gonna be great. I'm so excited. It's all just, and then I think the cast is amazing. I think like that was prime Charlie's Angels casting. They're all so funny and so cute and like smart and beautiful and like incredible.
Yeah, no, it's beautiful. Like, it's a straight up dopamine rush to your brain the whole time. Like, if you really sit down and think about this film, like 90% of it makes no sense. Like the fact that when they were at the beach, searching for like the assassin or whatever, like it made no sense. The fact that the Thin Man comes back out and is in the bike race, like what are you like? It was
the
literally
whole Thin
just
Man plot is
dropped
ultimately pointless. By the way, played by a very funny Crispin Glover.
Yes, and he is brilliant in this. Absolutely
So good.
spectacular. And I mean the way like him and Drew Barrymore like have their little flirt thing at the end before Grady kills him, and it's just like, what does this serve? Why is this in here? But god damn, it's amazing.
So funny, so good. The whole side plot with John Cleese playing Alex's dad, and he thinks that she's like a super sex worker, but he's like ultimately like trying to be very accepting and loving about her lifestyle is cuck funny.
Yeah, no, it was just and I mean, I usually hate misunderstanding comedy like that. Like, I just think it's really dumb and played out. But it was just so much fun. And watching Lucy Liu do it as well, just like with the way she says things, and like, oh, our client this time was a girl, and it took all three of us, but we got her on her back. And like, oh man, just brilliant. Like the cast in this, like you were saying, the cast in this, just the cameos they got are insane.
Fucking Shia LaBeouf, all young and cute.
Yeah, that was amazing. Oh man, I mean, look, I understand that objectively this is a bad movie because 90% of it shouldn't even be there. It's just filler. It's icing on top of a really average cupcake.
It got a lower audience score than a Tomato Meter score. It got 42% on the Tomato Meter and 40% audience score, which I don't understand. Like, I would rate this movie very highly. Like, it's not art, but it is wildly entertaining.
It is. It's brilliant. It's so, so entertaining. And that's what, at the end of the day, that's what a movie's for,
Yeah.
right? Is to be entertaining. That really shocks me about the fact that it got less audience score
Yeah.
than a critic score. That happens very rarely.
Look,
I-
is it a little offensive that like they laugh at every joke a man makes ever, and like whenever they're like in the offices they're like oh Bosley like that's a little annoying, but overall I think everybody's like Charlie's Angels is sexist, but not really, like kind of, but mostly like they're just using their sexuality to get what they want. Like it's not like they're being exploited, they're using their sexuality to
Exactly.
exploit other people, and they're very comfortable with their bodies clearly. And
Mm.
I don't know, the only problematic thing I would say that happened was that Dylan got the ever-loving shit beaten out of her by her boyfriend. And it is actually upsetting to watch.
Yeah, like I think that would have actually been, I mean, we'll talk about it when we go into our scenes, but I think that would have been a really interesting dynamic to explore because obviously like they dated forever and like
Yeah.
she clearly has some battered woman syndrome. The fact like he is beating the ever like beating the ever loving shit out of him and it's very clearly a problem. And yeah, you know, damn.
Yeah, because like that was like the only upsetting bit. I mean, the girls take punches to the face all the time and stuff, but this guy like kicks her in the head a couple times and like
Yeah.
really tries to like kill, like it. That was a little, I was like, oh, I don't know if that's okay, but fine.
It did feel a little out of place in this like completely delightful movie,
Yeah.
where they just like jump 5,000 feet in the air and do like a magical backflip and then land all together. Like the fact that he's just wailing on her like mid movie just got really serious really fast.
Yeah, I was like, oh, this is dark.
Yeah. Oh, what was I gonna say? That's very irritating. What was it about? Oh, that's really irritating. Okay, it will come back to me and I'll remember.
Okay.
Grady's. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, what could you like point out apart from like the obvious fact that like a lot of it was just filler? Like, why is this a bad film, or is it just purely because of the filler?
I think people just didn't like how silly it was. Like, obviously, the whole thing's completely unrealistic. Obviously, a lot of their plans and outfits and stuff are needlessly elaborate. There are much easier ways this could be done. Obviously, the plot's not great and the acting's not great, and it's just like very gratuitous. And you're like, I don't know why they have to be dressed as welders for this part of the stakeout. But
Yeah.
and like I get that, like if you're there, but you're watching a Charlie's Angels movie.
Right?
Like what were
Exactly.
you expecting?
Yeah, are you walking into a Charlie's Angels movie expecting like Citizen Kane levels of like
Yeah.
seriousness and like sexual exploration? Like no, it's insane to think that this is anything more than just three women kicking butt in old school kung fu fashion.
Having a super fun time, changing outfits constantly, wearing wigs for no apparent reason, looking beautiful, having a great time. The three of them had great chemistry together. Demi Moore, sexy evil villain. The only thing that I didn't understand was that like while she's like lounging in her hotel room being a villain, she's like in lingerie, heels, and a fur coat. And I was like, I don't think anyone actually lounges like that, Demi Moore, but okay. I would have given anything. I think this is my scene that could have saved it, which is like completely arbitrary. Is I would have given anything to see Demi Moore in like some fucking sweatpants, top knot, eating ice cream, watching these guys, and then she like dresses all sexy for like the auction.
That would have been really, really, really great. It would have been so much more realistic and just really fun to see. Yeah,
a little eye mask under her eyes.
Yeah, Yeah, exactly. Yeah, she's got like those horrible like toe separators for when you're doing your
Mm.
toes. Like she's got a couple of those in.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
that would
yeah.
be really.
Mm.
It's the same as like when she gets into the Ferrari after like being on the beach and she
Yeah.
hops in her bikini and she leaves her surfboard behind. Like the impracticality of that whole scene drives me crazy. You're ruining the Ferrari. It's just gonna get sand everywhere. Your
Yeah.
oily, sweaty body is all over the leather. You've left your surfboard.
Boards are
Mess.
expensive.
Yeah. So that was frustrating. But
Yeah.
yeah, okay.
I think like I really don't have a lot bad to say about this movie. I mean, I know that there are like really obvious bits that make it a bit shit, like, it's unrealistic, blah blah blah. But it is so fun. Like I was
It is.
wildly entertained. This is a Sunday morning hangover movie, you guys. You eat a
Oh
greasy
yeah.
breakfast. You watch this movie. Maybe you do a bit of Hair of the Dog. Like just have a good time.
Yeah, it's Charlie's friggin' Angels. What do you expect? It's just like it is one of those movies that will always make you feel really good. And it's Cameron Diaz at her silliest, and yeah, Drew Barrymore is so wonderful. Oh, that's what I wanted to say. Yes, Drew Barrymore staunchly against guns, and that is why
Yes.
in no scene in this film are they holding guns ever,
Yeah.
which is really cool.
Very interesting. I don't know. I'm all for gun control. Let me be very clear. I think it should be harder for people to get guns. In South Africa, for example, there are a lot of tests that you have to take and a lot of passes that you need to have where like you get testimonials from your friends and neighbors and shit before you're allowed to actually own a gun. Um,
Mm.
and I'm fine with that. I think it should be hard to get a hold of a gun. But I do believe that people whose job it is to put their lives on the line should have access to guns and should be able to protect themselves. So, like, I found that a little silly, to be honest, that, like, they're secret agents, but they don't use guns. Like, come on, guys. Really? Really?
I thought it was I thought it was absolutely brilliant. I mean, it's very on the nose, and I mean, you don't notice it if you're not watching, if you don't know that fact. But once you do know that fact, it is very on the nose that,
Yeah.
you're defeated without using guns, so guns are stupid. But it was still wildly entertaining because they
Oh,
like
man.
were
Yeah.
able to dodge thousands of bullets
So
with
many
no guns and
bullets.
still kick
Their
ass.
Kevlar
It was
vests were outstanding.
Yeah, it was incredible to see, and like the fact that only Demi Moore and her hand cannons, as essentially they were able to like douse the girls for a little bit.
Christ. So, what's your scene that could have saved it?
I would have liked a single villain plot. This
Mm.
movie, I felt, it fell into the classic Spider-Man 3 trap of having too many villains. I don't understand the crossover. Like, I understand the crossover, but I don't really understand the crossover between like the O'Grady crime family and O'Grady himself, and
Uh-huh.
then also his relationship to Demi Moore in the fact that she's selling him Halo. I get the point, but why?
Yeah.
Demi Moore by herself is an incredible villain. We
Yeah.
don't need, I think, a whole separate movie would be necessary to really go through the ex-boyfriend thing. And it just
Yeah.
makes it very, very complicated, and
Yeah.
there's just no
Not to
need for
mention
it. And then you've also,
the
yeah,
random Thin Man plot that amounted to exactly nothing.
exactly. So, like, what was the point of that? It was essentially just to make the movie long enough to be a feature film.
Yeah.
Um, and then you've got Shia LaBeouf in there, and he's in witness protection, so that was weird. No one's really actually going after him. Like, there's just so many things that are dropped and then picked up and then just thrown away very quickly. And I
Mm.
would have just like one cohesive story
Yeah.
about Demi Moore trying to sell Halo, and that's it.
Yeah.
Perfect. Excellent. We could leave it there. Brilliant.
Hmm.
But yeah, I equally think her eating ice cream in her sweatpants would have just fixed this movie.
And been so weirdly sexy.
Yeah, because she would be. It would be like Ryan Reynolds in Amityville Horror, where his sweatpants
Yeah.
are just a little too low, and that's
Mm.
sexy. Yeah,
Mm. Yeah.
yeah,
No,
I
I'm with
feel
you.
it.
I'm with you 10,000%. I'm very attracted to Demi Moore. Um,
Yeah.
that's all I have to say about that.
This episode title is the Simone's sexual awakening episode.
Like Demi Moore was close, but probably not my sexual awakening. Let's be honest.
Amazing.
Much like Dylan in
All right,
this
so
movie, I have problematic taste in male characters.
Oh, snap. Yes.
So, would you watch it again?
Oh, obviously.
Totally.
There's no question about it. I would watch this now again. It's
Yeah.
amazing. It's a brilliant, brilliant film, and I think it's one of those things. Is it good? No. Will I be watching it for the next 50 to 60 years? Yes.
Absolutely.
Without question. Yes.
It
How
is
about you?
16
Would you
years
watch
old,
this again?
Chad.
No
Yeah.
ways.
It came out in 2003, dude. I guess
Oh,
that
of
makes it
course it
14,
did.
like 17 years old.
Oh my gosh, that's terrifying.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, wow. I mean, it is the most 2000s movie in the world.
Oh
But,
my god,
I
the
mean,
fashion alone.
the fashion, pink is a big deal.
Makeup.
The makeup. So would you watch this again?
1000%. Like,
How could you not?
it's so fun. I love it. I was so excited that I got to watch it for the podcast.
Mhm.
It was wildly entertaining. I'm so happy.
Yeah, it was great. This was a great suggestion. I mean,
Yeah.
applauds to you
This
for
was just a
choosing
really fun
this theme.
episode.
This is great. This is excellent. So thank you very much, Simone, and thank you for
Yeah.
Charlie's Angels Full Throttle. Oh, also before we move on to my movie, you can't move on without mentioning that Matt Blanc was just
Yeah.
great in this as well.
Yeah, and Luke Wilson.
Oh, you've frozen. Oh God. Oh, you're back.
I said and
think,
Luke
yeah.
Wilson.
Oh, and Luke Wilson, yeah. Like we said, so many great cameos, and it's oh yeah, it was perfect, absolutely perfect.
Yeah. So that's it. We've done it.
We've done it.
Tell me about the latest Charlie's Angels. Explain this plot.
Shall
to
I
me.
tell you? I will try my best. My plot synopsis is not long at all because there really isn't that big a plot in this. So
there's a lot of shenanigans in the middle.
Oh, shenanigans. Okay, so here the Angels have modernized. With the help of John Bosley, played by Patrick Stewart, what was once a small organization based in California has now grown into an international Townsend agency. With different Bosleys and Angels spread throughout the world, fighting crime and leaving sexy justice in their wake. But now, after many years of service, John Bosley is retiring. Back at the California branch, the team is a bit of a mess. They only have two Angels who kind of don't really like each other, and they are the ones who are guarding the West Coast. You have Sabina, played by Kristen Stewart, who is this wild card, fun-loving badass, and you have Jane, played by Ella Balinska, who is more serious but equally as badass. Regardless, their Bosley, played by Jimon Honsu, has a job for them. Elena Holan, played by Naomi Scott, has approached them because she, along with her amazing team of scientists, have created a device that could solve the world energy crisis. Unfortunately, this device, known as Callisto, can also send out an EMP that would kill anyone within a 100-yard radius. She tried to tell her boss about this, as she could quite easily fix it, but he doesn't want to listen, so she goes to the Townsend Agency for help. When Eleanor and Bosley meet, they are tailed by an assassin, played by Jonathan Tucker. Unfortunately, after a skirmish, Bosley is killed. He is then replaced by the amazing Elizabeth Banks.
Whoop whoop.
Whoop whoop! Lots of shenanigans ensue. They try to steal all of the Callisto devices, so they are permanently taken off the market until they are fixed. There are twists and turns all along the way, with the Angels failing to run a successful mission over and over again. After one failed mission, where their new Bosley escapes, leaving them to die, the team starts to suspect that she's the rat, and is actually working for the bad guys. Turns out this is not the case. It is the retired Bosley who is the bad guy. He works as head of security for the people who made Callisto, but has now gone rogue. He wants the Callisto devices to be reprogrammed so that he is in complete control over all of them. He then wants to sell them as normals on the market, so that when with more being sold, he will be able to assassinate people at will. As you can probably guess, the Angels are able to stop him. Bosley, Elizabeth Banks, is able to call in a bunch of other angels from various countries, and they are able to stop the evil Bosley, disable the Callisto devices, and save the world. In the end, the two California angels become friends, and they recruit Eleanor to become an angel. There is a cool ending montage of her going through her training, and that is the end.
Well done.
I mean, there's so little plot. You gotta pull out the little drips and drabs that you can.
Yeah. What's your cliffhanger?
This was also real difficult to choose because again, the words there were no words. So I had to go for this one, and it's the scene where Eleanor is standing up for herself. So like when they're in Istanbul, and she's like, "I have something to say. I want to be part of this mission." You know, and it's just she's so cute, and they're all just like, "Yeah, of course
Obviously,
you're like that's why you're in the briefing."
That was one of the funniest scenes in the whole movie. Just especially Elizabeth Banks being like, "Oh, I saw a video of like a baby playing with like a cute animal, and it was not as cute as what you just did."
Right. It's oh man, and I mean, like I guess this is the sort of the way the movie goes. It's just Naomi Scott just doing immoral things, and like the other two being badasses, and it's just look. This movie isn't great. It's not even a good Charlie's Angels movie, but the three ladies are fucking cool, and Elizabeth Banks, four ladies. Yeah.
I think the casting was fantastic. I really loved Naomi Scott. She was so cute as like the new little angel. I loved Kristen Stewart. She was so fun. Loved her whole character. God, who's the third angel?
That is 1 second. Ella Balinska.
She was so cool. She's beautiful. She's such a badass. She like all of that was amazing. I loved the whole dynamic because it was clearly like a little bit of an origin story, like where they're just like assembling as a team, which is kind of fun because we don't really see that with the Angels in like the early 2000s ones. They had the changes of outfits, they had like the fun wigs, they had that, their fight scenes were a little bit more realistic. Like it kind of like when I thought about like what would I want from another Charlie's Angels after watching a Full Throttle, it ticked a lot of the boxes, but I don't know why I just wasn't as entertained.
No, I think the like one of the main reasons like it wasn't entertaining is the fact that like it's really sporadic, but not in the way that Full Throttle was sporadic. Because even though in Full Throttle like each scene was in isolation, each scene was brilliant. In the entirety of the movie, those scenes weren't necessary, but individually, excellent. In this scene, in this movie, each scene individually was pointless and then also didn't do anything for the plot. And it was just like really lackluster the whole way through, which is such a shame because I think the combination of these three women would be excellent. It brings it into the 21st century. It makes it more sort of not about boys and looking sexy. They do look sexy. That dance scene at the end when they're at the club and they're doing the dance, shit. What? Like very, very sexy women.
Yeah.
But it doesn't sort of overly sexualize them, which is ace. But yeah, just the writing wasn't good.
Yeah. No, I agree. I mean, I really, like I said, I still don't really know exactly how I feel about this movie. Like, I wanted to like it. I really liked a lot of aspects of it, but when it all came together, you're just like, oh, it kind of, and I know the whole like controversy was that like the movie didn't do well, and Elizabeth Banks was like, oh, it's because like men don't like women movies that star women, and it's like that wasn't really the problem. Like all female casts have historically done very well, and like especially in 2019. It was just that this. Did you feel, and you can say this, I know that like you feel a little awkward because like you're a dude, but like did you not feel a little preached to?
I mean, A little, not really. To be, it just like there wasn't so much preaching. I don't know, because like obviously there was a very clear from like the start. You know, when her and Australian Johnny are like having that conversation, and she's like, people underestimated us because we're sexy women, and I was like, okay, cool. This is the stance we're taking. Excellent, brilliant. That's fine. We do need to talk about these things, and the more that they're in the but you are gonna get a lot of pushback because of that. I didn't feel preached to per se, but I did feel that, you know, I don't know if it's like because I'm looking at it with hindsight or not, but I feel like with how badly this movie did, the movie itself set it up to be that bad and then give it an excuse for for doing so badly, blaming it on men. So it was kind of it was a snake eating its own tail.
Yeah.
In that way, because it was like, okay, people are going to push back on this, so let's set ourselves up like with a cushion to say, oh, it's because it's all female cast, that's why it did poorly, and that felt a bit shitty, really, for lack of a better word for it.
Yeah. No, definitely. I mean, to be honest, like, you know, full-on feminist, women's rights, like, want better representation of women in movies, totally. But, like, that whole conversation she has with the guy at the beginning of the movie where, like, he's, like, a billionaire and he just wants her to be his hot girlfriend and, like, give her everything, and he doesn't understand why she wants to be independent, was very on the nose. Like, it was fun, and, you know, I love Kristen Stewart being flirty. I think she's very sexy. But, like, I was like, okay, like, I get it. Like, we get what you're setting up for, you know, where she's talking about, like, oh, you know, we should all just have a choice to be able to, like, do whatever we want. Like, okay, great. So Kristen Stewart's here explaining feminism 101. Cool. Not everybody knows that, which is fine. I loved the opening scene. I thought that was all very fun. And then, like, later on, God, I cannot remember her name. The one that isn't Naomi Scott.
Ella she's really new on the scene, so like it's
so
fair enough.
Beautiful.
She's
I really
like been in nothing.
I feel horrible. I can't remember her name. When she's like making a deal with this like woman in Turkey helping her like run a clinic, and it's kind of very clearly a Planned Parenthood type clinic.
Yeah.
Like very obviously. Yeah. Which again, super necessary service. I think parental planning and access to like being able to control what happens with your body, great. Very preachy. And again, didn't actually contribute that much to the plot.
No, it really, like, it was just another jumping off point.
Yeah, it was just another little like, oh, look how fucking feminist these Charlie's Angels are. Which, great. But, like, show me. Like, don't tell me. Like, stop being like, oh, they're totally supporting, like, a Planned Parenthood in Istanbul. Like, just show me them being really fucking cool. Like, and, I don't know.
Look,
I have mixed feelings.
Yeah, and that's, like, I also, like, I didn't know how to feel about this movie.
Yeah.
Like when I finished it. So like I went on the internet and I did like a bit of research, and like I think it's the culmination of all the parts. Like apparently this movie had like a whole bunch of rewrites during and pre-production. So like that made a lot of sense in itself. You also had Kristen Stewart, who is a well-known actress, you know, who does a lot of indie stuff but not so much mainstream media.
Yeah.
And two relatively unknowns in Ella Balinska and Naomi Scott. Naomi Scott obviously was in Aladdin, and so she's growing in her interest. And they were saying the fact that there wasn't, it's the fact that people like Margot Robbie, and some others all turned down being in this movie. It was the fact that like you didn't have these big names. There was tons of script rewrites.
Yeah.
It was a combination of all its parts, and I like it really shocks me that you said that about Elizabeth Banks saying that it was because men don't like to see women in powerful things.
Yeah,
she directed Pitch Perfect 2 and 3.
Yeah, so she
two of the biggest like female-led movies, so she knows they work. it really makes no sense that she would say that. Like that just feels like
Yeah.
an excuse for a shitty movie.
Yeah. Look, and you know, sometimes it's a swing and a miss. I think Charlie's Angels is an inherently hard concept to go with if you're trying to make like a very feminist movie, and the way that they went about it
Mm,
just wasn't it. Which is
no.
fine. Like we're all experimenting and like trying to be better allies and everything. And
Mm,
I think they were 60% there. They had the great casting. They had like
mm,
really good dynamics actually between the different characters. Naomi Scott was adorable. They just
mhm.
really needed to bring it home with a really decent plot and like, you know, I don't know, maybe I'll sound like a really sexist white dude, but I think they needed to make it more fun. Like it wasn't fun.
Mm, no, exactly.
Kind of Charlie's
I
Angels is a
completely
little
agree with you.
ridiculous. It's a little like silly. They are wearing costumes for like no reason, and it wasn't as fun as it could have been.
No, exactly. And I mean, like Kirsten Stewart says in the beginning, like people underestimate them because they're sexy women,
Yeah,
and then you take away most of the sexy woman
yeah,
aspects of it. Like that was half the
totally.
fun with the costumes in Full
Yeah,
Throttle. It was the fact like they were in suspenders and stockings and little,
yeah,
maids
totally.
outfits and all that shit. And while inherently that is sexist, it also shows how sexist it is, and like it really
Yeah,
highlights that, and it's showing like how stupid men are for falling for that.
yeah.
And so taking that away kind of unfortunately defeats the purpose. I know like a lot of people don't see it that way, but it really does.
Yeah. I think there could have been a bit more trade-off between like understanding that like owning your sexuality isn't the same as being exploited. I think they couldn't draw that
Hmm.
distinction at all. They were just like, oh, we're just not going to put them in a lot of sexy scenarios. And they didn't really find the balance there. I
Hmm.
think that they could have done more with that, but also done more with the idea that like these girls don't necessarily want to immediately lean on their sexuality to get
Hmm.
through whatever mission they're trying to get through. They want to lean on their skills. They want to lean on their
Mm.
intelligence. They want to lean on like their, you know, physical fighting ability. Um, there's a balance to
Yeah.
strike there that they just didn't meet.
No.
And then the
No.
worst part for me is that later in like interviews after the movie came out and everything and everybody's seen it, they like kind of talked about how Kristen Stewart's character is gay.
Oh,
Um,
oh, retconning.
Yeah, exactly. Which I'm gonna call it JK Rowling, which is where you get
Yeah.
like diversity points, even though you weren't actually brave enough to have the character actually be gay in the movie. You're just like, in hindsight, you're like, no, guys, that character is definitely part of the LGBTQ plus community. So you get like all the benefits of not having a gay character and trying to get the benefits of having a gay character too. Hi, JK Rowling, we see
Oh
you.
my gosh. Yeah, yeah. 100%. I love that. That's such an accurate statement that you've made.
Thank you. I didn't come up with it. Like there have been a lot of articles, especially with J.K. Rowling in the news more or less recently. Um,
Hmm.
like so it's not like I just noticed that, but yeah, that's what they do. And I was like, okay,
Hmm.
fuck you, actually.
Yeah, yeah, that feels really lame, especially
Mm,
because like there are so many parts in the movie where she clearly is into dudes.
yeah.
Like, yeah,
I mean,
I'm
there are a
not
couple
saying,
parts where like
yeah,
subtly she's into ladies. Like I was looking for
yeah.
it, so I kind of noticed, but like
Mm. But that's just androgyny. I mean, we're all sort of, you can all appreciate
maybe
dudes
she's just a
and
little
ladies.
pan, you know? Like,
Yeah.
ugh,
Yeah,
ugh,
it feels dirty.
rage.
It feels really dirty. Yeah, yeah, exactly. So I mean, let's pull out the bits that we like. What did you find good about this movie? What else?
I think this might coincide a bit with my scene that could have saved it. Look, I liked seeing
Mm,
like the behind the scenes of like how much the organization has
mm.
grown. I loved their little warehouse. I loved their closet. I loved like the guy whose sole job is to just help them like look after themselves. And he's like
Yeah,
a
same.
psychiatrist slash
Wonderful.
physical therapist slash chef. And he's like,
Yeah,
fuck yeah, we eat like a ton of cheese here. Fuck yeah, we have wine here. I was like, that's bomb. Like that was
yeah,
fun.
yeah. It
I
almost
think,
makes you want to be an angel.
yeah. Oh my God, totally. Are you kidding me? That all looks so fun. Um, I loved seeing the Angels training in the credits at the end.
That was
That
cool.
was wildly entertaining. I wish the whole movie had been that. I wish like this is probably going to bleed into my scene that could have saved it. It is my scene that could have saved it. But I wish we'd actually seen like all of them getting their training together and have this be like their first mission, or have this be like
Yeah.
Naomi Scott's first mission as an angel, and she's like trying to prove herself or something. Like that would have been cool, because like the whole angel school thing was so fun. They had Laverne Cox teaching them like how to do guns. They had Ronda Rousey teaching them how to fight. Like that was so cool.
Yeah. No, it was. It was really, really fun. Like, I think the most joy, I agree with you, the most joy I took out of this film was the ending credits, which is
Yeah.
not what a film should be. Not at all. I also love the fact of Elizabeth Banks' character being like the first angel to become a Bosley. That is,
Yeah.
let's explore that. Let's go down that
Yeah.
avenue, because that's badass.
Totally. There are so many ways it could have gone. I would have loved to see that sort of part of the origin. I
Mm.
mm,
Yeah, yeah. It's a swing and a miss, and
yeah,
it's just one of those really unfortunate swings and a misses because there's so much potential there. Ah,
so much.
so
And
much.
I honestly hope that this movie actually gets a sequel, just because I think the casting was outstanding, and I think
Mm-hmm.
they can really do something with it if they stop trying to fucking like be like, hey, we're feminists. Like,
Yeah,
we get
yeah,
it. Just like
yeah,
make a good fucking movie.
yeah. You don't need the message. The message will portray
Yeah,
itself. You know, like I think the reason that Pitch Perfect works so well is they're not trying to do a feminist message. It's just a
yeah,
fun movie run by women, and that's it.
exactly.
That's all there is to it.
Exactly.
And yeah, yeah. I'm not saying don't preach. We would never say don't
Of
preach because
course.
people need to learn these lessons, but also do it in a clever way that you because it's a, essentially the world, broken down into those who are sort of understand the message, those who want to understand the message but can't, and those who refuse to understand the message. And
Yeah.
by doing a film like this, all you're doing is trying to make the people who refuse to understand the message, and they like by definition won't. And
Yeah.
then
You're
you get shitty
alienating
box
that
office results.
whole like side
Mm,
of the audience. You're not really teaching them anything because it's so on the nose.
exactly. You need to be really subtle with it and make them not even realize that this is a
Yeah.
normal stream of life.
Yeah.
Yes, but yeah, yeah. My scene that could have saved it is sort of like along the same lines in terms of just a clearer mission. I
Yeah.
understand that their mission was to stop Callisto reaching the market.
Yeah.
Just go to the press. Just go to
Yeah.
the press and say this is what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Like not hard.
Literally.
Yeah, yeah. So I just like a bit clearer mission. Like you said,
Mm.
I think an Angels training school would have been sick.
I'd
That would
watch
have
a
been.
whole TV show about that.
Oh my God, should we write that? That would be
Mm.
amazing.
Like
Netflix would
Riverdale, but
buy
at a
it like
spy
that.
school. Super fun.
Ah, yeah. Drama, intrigue,
Mm.
sexy people doing karate. Amazing. It's all you need.
I just love a high school drama, so really I'm an easy sell for stuff like this.
So you're more focused on the high school drama side of things than the actual fighting and them
Oh
training
yeah.
kind of things. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, a bit of both. You know, I love some fighting training.
Oh yeah. Oh definitely. Yeah. You must have loved that bit with the Krav Maga when she
It
was just
was
like
not good Krav
adorably
Maga
trying to
that she
do
did.
Krav Maga. It was so funny. And she's like, I loved it at the end when she like chops the dude and she's like Krav Maga. Ha! That was funny.
She's not going to a good Krav Maga class. I just want to say, if she were going to a good one, she would have taken that guy the fuck down.
Yeah. Yeah. That's fair. So Simone, then, if you had a better copy of this movie, which we both didn't, would you watch it again?
You know what? I think I'd give it another shot. Like, overall, I was pretty entertained with it. Was it my favorite Charlie's Angels movie? Certainly not. Um,
Mm.
but like I said, I think the cast was really good and really fun, and they deserve a shot. And I really enjoyed their chemistry all together.
Mhm. Yeah, exactly. No, I kind of agree with you. Like, I would watch it again for the three ladies, not so much for the story, you
Yeah,
know. And
definitely.
yeah, I think I think that's where you're right. Like, if there is a sequel to this, like, I'm sure they can fix things. And if they do make a sequel, I'd rather watch that sequel than watch this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Well, there we go, Simone.
Look
We
at
have
us.
done it. Mission complete. Bosley
Oh.
and Charlie will be so happy.
By the way, if y'all are hiring, like, I will sign up to be an angel tomorrow if I get to wear cool clothes and wigs and shit.
Yeah. I think your wig
Chad will
budget would
sign
go
up
way,
too.
way up. And I'll be a Bosley. I'm happy to be a
You'd be a
Bosley.
great Bosley, Chad. You're so supportive.
Oh, thank you. Or I could be a saint. That would be great. That would be really fun. Just like slapping the mints out your hands and be like, "Those are nut mints." Like, just great.
Being like, I made you a smoothie with all your favorite things.
Have cheese. I'd just be throwing cheese at you and then like,
Oh, my
bringing you
dream.
glasses of wine.
I was talking to Rudy about me being a secret agent, and
Uh-huh.
the big thing is, like, you know, I can fight and I can be cute, but if someone yells at me, I'll cry. That's my main weakness. It's just the moment someone yells at me, like, I burst into tears.
Aw, Simone. Okay, so that would be your angel training. Like you would pass the physical stuff really, really easily. It would just be you sitting in a room with someone screaming at you until you stopped crying.
Like, I'll do bomb diffusion, I'll do, like, languages, I'll jump out of fucking planes, like, I don't give a shit. But the moment someone, like, argues with me, like, if I have to argue with someone, I'll cry. I hate arguing.
Like the least conflicting person of all time.
I don't want to do it.
Well, thank you for sharing your flaw with us. I appreciate that.
Now you all know. But
Now
if you're
you all
still
know.
recruiting, I can work on that.
Yeah, exactly. You see, you're in the room to improve. You're not just stuck in your ways. You
Yeah,
want to learn to be
That's
better.
what the classes
Yeah.
are for.
Yeah, exactly. You're so very right.
Mm.
Well, Simone, I have an idea for next week.
Tell me.
Now, it's not what I still stand by what I said about movies that people think are good that are actually terrible. But I am thinking psychiatric 3 Christs, which got 47%, and A Million Little Pieces, which got like 12%. What do you think?
So those are both psychiatric, and that's like both 2019 movies, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Okay, let's do it. Let's get into our minds.
Yeah. I think because you were born Catholic and I was born a drug addict, you should do 3 Christs and I should do A Million Little Pieces.
Were you born a drug addict?
Yes, my drug was called life.
That's such a personal instructor thing to say.
Yes. I went my drug was life and I went to the school of hard knocks. That's where I got my GDE.
Oh God. Perfect. Let's do that.
Very excited. That should be a really fun week. Yeah, I mean it was a thinly veiled excuse for us to do 3 Christs because I know we both want to watch that so badly. So I'm fine with that. And I'm glad it did. In a way, I'm glad it didn't do super well.
Yeah.
Because it means we get to do it now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
Chad, what is your optimistic thing for the week?
So Simone, I played Dungeons and Dragons on Friday, and I haven't done that in
When
years.
last?
Oh gosh, it would have been early 2017. It would have been like May 2017 that I last played Dungeons and Dragons. So it was really, really fun. My work is trying to do this like new initiative where we do like games nights and try and make the office like more fun and stuff. So I was like, oh, I'll do a D&D night. And so I dungeon mastered and a bunch of people from work. Yeah, it was really cool. We did it at work. We had a bunch of people from work like join in and stuff, and brought in my dice and everything. And it was
Did you
really,
make character sheets for people, or did they have to do their own characters?
I made their character sheets for
that's
them.
best.
Yeah, exactly. Because like not one of them had ever played before, so
Yeah.
like it was much easier to just make them for them.
Yeah.
But they really got into it. They were like proper role playing and everything, so it was really
So
really nice
fun.
and fun. It was a really great evening. Yeah, yeah, it was awesome. Yeah,
Oh, well
yeah,
done. Wow,
yeah. Thank
D&D.
D&D. How about you? What's your optimistic thing for the week?
God, I had one.
That's
Um, fuck, I really did have one. It's gonna come to me. It's gonna come to me. You just wait. Oh, yes. Soup.
Soup.
It is the food that's always there for you. We had two friends over yesterday night who were both, one was recovering from a cold, the other one was coming down with a cold. I made them hot noodle soup and they felt better. And I was just reminded of like, soup cures everything in your heart. If you're sad, have a good tomato soup and grilled cheese sandwich. If you're cold in winter, have a butternut soup. If you're sick, have some sort of clear brothy soup. Like, it's always there for you. It's a warm hug from the inside. It's got all the veggies you need, depending on how you cook it. It's got my favorite food group, which is noodles. It can do it all.
Hmm.
Soup.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
I would
It's
eat soup every day if I
beautiful.
could.
Wow, that is a bold statement, but good on you. The soup is delicious, and you're so right. It is the hug from the inside. You can't go wrong. What's your favorite soup?
You know what? I don't know, but I do like the classic tomato soup with a grilled cheese sandwich. Like, is there anything more comforting in this entire whole wide universe than a really fucking good grilled cheese, though? Like, I'm talking two different cheeses, like a bit of
Mhm.
seasoning, and then a tomato soup that's like been cooking for hours, so it's got all the flavor.
Mhm.
Like, nothing, like, your heart can be broken in half, and you can have a tomato soup and grilled cheese and feel better about life. What's your favorite soup?
You are so right. My favorite soup is a chicken noodle soup.
Mm,
I love the chicken. I love the noodles. I
yeah.
love the broth. There is nothing you can defeat. Like you are on top of the world after a chicken noodle
Yeah.
soup, whatever you're going through. Like you said,
Yeah.
it's just a beautiful soup. Now, I want to clarify what I'm about to say with with the statement. This is definitely a joke. This is obviously not what I actually feel, and it's not what I actually think. But I believe that with these three foods, you can cure any type of depression, and that
Uh-huh.
is cheesy chips,
Uh-huh.
cheese sandwich, and tomato soup. But fuck, what was the third?
Chicken noodle soup?
No, it wasn't two types of soup. Are you crazy? And
I mean, that was my thesis, so I don't know. A burger, pizza?
and a probably pizza, right? Or maybe like a chocolate milkshake
Oh,
or any
yeah.
kind of
You need
milkshake.
something sweet.
Yeah, yeah. But I
A
think
good
with those
brownie, like
three
a really
things,
good
you could
fudgy
cure depression.
brownie.
Oh, like goo on the inside. Ooh,
Mm.
yes, yes. Better than that. With those three, you can cure depression. You can cure all your
Mm.
ailments. Perfect,
Mm-hmm.
perfect food groups.
I completely
Yeah,
agree. I think that's like a
yeah.
three-course meal, really. You have a chicken noodle soup, or no, you have your you have your tomato soup and grilled cheese, you have your cheesy chips, and you finish it off with a gooey brownie. Like whatever you're going
Yeah.
through is gonna feel better.
Ah, oh man. If someone made that for me, I would just marry them on the spot. I mean, to be fair,
Immediately.
I feel
Totally.
like yeah, that's the key to my heart. Those three things. Oh man.
So anyway,
So anyway, we've done it again, Simone.
we've done
We've
it.
we've done we've done yet another wonderful episode. And is this episode 31 or 30? I can't remember.
This is 31.
This is 31, so we're properly in our third decade of podcasting
Yeah.
episodes. You know, we've settled down. We're starting to think about kids, and you know, we've got the house. We're comfortable in our jobs. Yeah, life's good at 30. You know, 30 is the new 20, as they say.
Look at us.
Look at us go. And you know, thank you guys for listening. We appreciate it. We love that you guys love us. We're feeling a lot of love, especially on Twitter and Instagram. It makes us so happy to receive your messages and things. We really do appreciate it. And you know, if you are sharing the love, why not tell your friends, tell your parents, tell that weird neighbor next door who sort of just keeps to themselves. Why not extend a hand, open up? And the best way to open up is with our podcast. And you know, if you're on the internet, because we all are, we're all in this cyber age, why not leave us a comment or give us a rating or tell us what you think of the podcast? And where can people do that, Simone?
They can do that on Facebook or Instagram at Fresh Tomatoes Podcast, on Twitter at Fresh Tomatoes MP. They can email us at freshtomatoespodcast@gmail.com. They can check out our YouTube channel, which we link to on all of our social medias. Or just look up Fresh Tomatoes Podcast on YouTube and you'll find us.
Yeah. Boom, boom, boom. And that's how you get in touch with us, guys. And we really, really do appreciate all the love that you share with us. And in return, as we say at the end of every episode, we love you and there's nothing you can do about it.
We love you and there's nothing you can do about it. Goodbye.
Goodbye. Nice.